He wiped the sweat from his forehead as he balanced yet another heavy delivery bag. The city streets were hot, and his legs ached, but he smiled, determined to finish his shift. One knock on a door would change everything he thought about his day. The customer opened the door, and her words cut sharper than any blade. Little did he know. A single voice from the past would turn his whole world around. Raza, a young delivery boy of 17, worked tirelessly to support his family. Every morning before sunrise, he tightened the straps of his worn-out backpack, stuffed with parcels, and stepped into the noisy, bustling streets. His uniform was faded, the sleeves frayed from constant wear, but Raza carried himself with a quiet dignity. Every delivery wasn't just a task. It was a chance to help his mother pay for medicine, school fees, and the little things that made life livable. He loved the rhythm of his job, the honking cars, the chatter of street vendors, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery. Yet beneath the surface, life wasn't easy. Raza often returned home with aching legs, empty stomach, and a faint longing to rest without worrying about tomorrow. But he never complained. His father had passed away when he was 10, leaving Raza and his mother to navigate the world together. They had dreams, small and simple ones, like fixing the leaking roof of their home or buying a proper fan for the bedroom. Every day, Raza reminded himself that he was working for more than money. He was delivering hope, one package at a time. When a customer smiled and said thank you, it felt like sunlight breaking through a storm. Even the occasional nod or tip made the long hours worthwhile. On this particular afternoon, the sun was relentless. The roads shimmered with heat, and Raza's backpack felt heavier than usual. He had just one delivery left before he could finally rest. He approached a small, neat house at the end of the lane, rehearsing his polite greetings in his mind. He knocked, the echo sharp against the door, and waited with a faint, hopeful smile. What happened next shattered that smile and tested his resilience in ways he hadn't imagined. The door swung open, revealing a young woman with an impatient frown. Raza greeted her politely, holding out the package with both hands. "Good afternoon, ma'am. Here's your delivery." Her eyes scanned him quickly, not with curiosity or gratitude, but with thinly veiled disdain. "Finally! Do you even know how to do your job?" she snapped. Her voice dripped with irritation, mocking the worn uniform, the dusty shoes, and even the sweat glistening on his forehead. "You're always late. Look at you, messy, dirty, useless." Raza's throat tightened. He forced a small nod, a smile that didn't reach his eyes, and handed over the package. "I'm sorry, ma'am." "I tried my best." She rolled her eyes and slammed the door before he could say another word. For a moment, he stood frozen on the doorstep, the sting of her words heavier than the backpack on his shoulders. All the hours, all the effort, all the small victories of the day felt meaningless. He felt invisible, judged for his appearance and circumstances rather than his hard work. As he walked away, his heart sank further. He remembered his mother's words from that morning. "Raza, be kind, no matter what people say. One day, it will come back to you." He tried to hold on to that thought, but the ridicule still echoed in his mind. He trudged back through the busy streets, passing cheerful vendors and children playing in puddles, yet he felt utterly alone. A pang of hopelessness gripped him. He questioned everything, his job, his effort, even his worth. How could anyone see the sweat, the dedication, and only see failure? Raza found a quiet corner by a small park bench and sat down, resting his head in his hands. The backpack thumped beside him as if it too shared the weight of his emotions. He thought of the tiny apartment he shared with his mother, of her hopeful smile every time he returned with a day's earnings. He thought of the bills piling up, of the dreams that felt impossibly distant. For the first time that day, Raza felt defeated. The city noise faded into the background, leaving only the harsh reality of disappointment, humiliation, and exhaustion. He wondered if being kind, polite, and hard-working would ever truly matter in a world so quick to judge. Hours later, as the sun began to dip behind the buildings, Raza trudged back toward the main street, ready to head home. His uniform was sticky with sweat, his face tired, and his spirit low. He barely noticed when a car slowed beside him and the window rolled down. "Hey," Raza, right? A gentle voice called. He looked up to see the same young woman from earlier, only this time she was not alone. Beside her stood an older woman, her face calm but kind, eyes filled with understanding. "My daughter, she can be rude," the woman said softly. "I wanted to apologize for her words." Raza blinked, uncertain if he heard correctly. The older woman continued, her voice steady, warm and full of compassion. "You see, Raza, life is hard. People say things they don't mean, but your work, your effort, your heart, that matters. Don't let anyone take away your dignity. You are seen, even when others fail to notice." Something in Raza's chest loosened, a tension he didn't realize he was holding melting away. Tears pricked his eyes, but this time they weren't from shame. They were from relief, validation, and unexpected kindness. The woman handed him a small envelope. "This is just a little something for your family. But more importantly, remember this. Kindness always comes back, even when it feels invisible." Raza accepted it with trembling hands, overwhelmed. He looked at her daughter, and saw a different story, one of care and learning, not judgment. His heart lifted, and he felt the weight of the day shift, replaced by hope. As he walked home that evening, Raza realized something profound. The world could be harsh, people could be cruel, but there were always moments, small or grand, that restored faith. One act of genuine kindness had turned his despair into courage. He thought of his mother's words again, now shining brighter than ever. Kindness always comes back. Raza entered his home that evening, backpack lighter in his hands, heart lighter in his chest. His mother smiled at him, noticing the change, and he finally shared the story, the envelope, and the lesson he had just learned. The room felt brighter, warmer, full of hope. Raza learned that day that harsh words cannot define your worth. Kindness, even from strangers, can heal wounds unseen. A single act of compassion can change a life forever. Never underestimate the power of understanding and empathy. Be kind. You never know whose heart you might lift.